Hey everyone, it's me again, the MetaVerse Explorer. So today we have an interview with Cian from the AVER Decentralized Betting. So they are actually have a application online at the moment, and they have a Solana Ignition Hackathon participation going on. So Cian, hello, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Tell us about your project. What is AVER?
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm one of two co-founders on the AVER project. We're a pretty early stage project trying to build a platform and ecosystem for decentralized and trustless betting on the Solana blockchain. We've recently submitted to the Solana Ignition Hackathon, which we're very excited about. We've spent the day kind of trawling through other projects and been sort of in awe of all of the other submissions that have popped up this time around.
Yeah, you're gauging your competition.
Absolutely, and I got to say, look, we're really humbled to be among the ranks this time around. There's some really incredible projects there.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we're a very early stages project, but we have very big ambitions. We think there's a lot of potential that Solana brings about, and we think we can be one of the first really viable betting prediction markets built on the Solana blockchain. So super excited about it, and super excited to be on this on the show.
I'm excited for you too as well. I've used your application. It's very smooth. As a retail guy, like, it's so easy for me to bet, which is probably dangerous for me. So tell us about your team, please. Who are you guys? What kind of experience do you have?
Yeah, sure. So my own background is actually I'm a qualified actuary. So I come from a sort of probability, market dynamics, traditional financial background. So my main focus is sort of around the product itself and how a betting market should function. Although I've sort of a self-taught developer and I've been sort of learning my way and started to code quite a lot. And my partner on this, my co-founder, his name is Viggy. He is a developer, a full-stack developer, a really talented guy in terms of very quickly, very aggressively building this thing out. So at the moment, yeah, it's a core team of two. We've pretty much done all of the build ourselves in the last 40 days. And that's pretty much us.
Wow, that's awesome. You guys, a team of two, managed to push out such a really well-tuned and nice-looking UI, and even an actual working application as well. That's incredible.
Well, thanks very much. Yeah, good to hear that. And it's been a pretty intense 40 days, but we're very happy with the result.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so talk to us about so AVER protocol. I'm on the website at the moment. Tell us about what I'm seeing on the AVER Wallet page.
Yeah, so the AVER Wallet, a lot of this maybe will start to make a little bit more sense as we go through some of the other UI. But effectively, what we've got here is a tokenized betting protocol, right? So all of your bets, all of your positions, your balances, they're all represented through SPL tokens, which has a lot of benefits. One of them being that they're tradable. One of them being that you can take them away from our platform. You can send them to your friend's wallet. You can trade them off the AVER platform. But one of the key challenges is that it creates a lot of different token mints, and all of a sudden your wallet can have a lot of sort of anonymous tokens appearing. So the AVER Wallet is sort of intended to overlay context to what those tokens are, and so you can understand that this random token mint actually represents a particular stake in, for example, Liverpool winning a game at the weekend, or in the floor price of Solana Monkey Business NFTs being above a certain level on a certain date, or whatever the betting market you're betting on is. So it's really just a way for you to manage those tokens and to overlay that understanding of what your positions are, understand when a market was resolved, if you've got winnings to collect, whatever it is. It's just sort of a layer on top of all of the data, which is of course on-chain and decentralized.
Yeah, I'm looking at the status of some of these markets at the moment. Some of them are active and some of them have been resolved. And I think we'll do a little tutorial later about looking at some of the resolved markets. So I'm seeing one thing here that really catches my eye, which is Trump to win the US election in 2024. And it's active at the moment. So I'm going to click on that, and we see a few things. So you can make a bet, is that right? Can you tell me more about it? Like, how does it work behind the scenes?
Yeah, absolutely. So behind the scenes, all of the exchange is powered by Serum, which is an order book exchange. I'm sure almost all of your subscribers will be very aware of Serum.
Everyone knows.
And they've done a lot of really incredible things, which is bringing the order book onto the blockchain, which is no easy feat. And we have massive respect for the Cian guys, and it pretty much enables almost everything we do. So behind that, there is an exchange, a decentralized exchange, where these betting tokens, which represent either a yes or a no in the example of the Trump market, can be traded back and forth, right? And price discovery can happen, and effectively the inverse of your price is the odds. So let's say you buy it at 50 cents per dollar, you've got 1-to-1 odds, right, or even odds to pay out on that bet. And so those prices can move up and down as different market participants speculate on what that fair price is. And so then as a retail user, as someone who wants to just place a bet, you can buy those tokens on the market, which effectively represent an outcome that either goes to 1 if you're right, or goes to 0 if you're wrong. And depending on the number of those you buy, that's the size of your stake, that's the size of your bet. And that's how it's all facilitated in the back end.
Yeah.
And then in terms of how it's resolved, as we say, those tokens have to go to 1 or 0, but you don't want to have to just trust, what we say, right? So a big part of this is we're not like traditional bookmakers, right? We are not the ones that just decide, yes, we confirm that did happen or didn't happen, or we don't retain the right to hijack that outcome. So obviously all of this then is resolved on chain. So we use on-chain data feeds and oracles to resolve those markets so that you can trust that it can't be hijacked by a bookmaker or by anybody else to sway the market to their advantage. So lots of really beneficial things by bringing this on chain.
And what oracles do you actually use at the moment? Switchboard or Pip?
So at the moment, we've got some integrations with Switchboard. They've kindly agreed to help us out by putting some English Premier League matches on, as sort of our first stage proof of concept. And so as we say, at the moment, what happens is those feeds effectively update on the Oracle source, which is somewhere like ESPN, Yahoo Sports. And when that appears there, multiple different decentralized nodes will validate and all come to a consensus on how the market is resolved. And then our contracts pick that up and validate. And it's something that happens entirely on chain. We can't tamper with it. We can't interfere with it. And so you can trust that this resolution has happened in a genuinely decentralized, trustless way.
Yeah, I think it's incredible the things that we can now bring on chain from outside. It's just crazy, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question. So there's a few other prediction protocols out there. How do you think AVER differs from these projects? Comes to mind Hedgehog Markets and Divi. What do you think? What is the differentiating factor for AVER?
Yeah, sure. I guess even before we get on to Divi and Hedgehog, I guess it's worth acknowledging that even before Solana, a couple of projects in the past on other chains have attempted betting markets and prediction markets. Some things that have been incredible. They were, the first in many cases to move on this, but a big problem was that, on Ethereum or other chains, simply too slow, simply too expensive to make betting markets viable.
That's true. You can't send an Ethereum transaction to bet on the market. No way.
Yeah, it's just not viable, right? And even though they had a lot of really good ideas and a lot of good concepts, and many of those have informed and inspired some of what we've done, the platform just didn't facilitate it, right? And so I think probably one of the first things to call out is the gift that Solana and Cian provides and the opportunity that it provides, right? So that's probably the first thing to acknowledge. Then within Solana, we've looked at other projects like Divi, we've looked at Hedgehog, and to be quite frank, really, really impressed. I think some incredible UI stuff there. And maybe I'm the only one who will be super into the nuance, but there is some big nuance in terms of what we're doing, and we do think there's something quite different that AVER is doing from Divi and that Divi is doing from Hedgehog.
Yeah, please share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think Hedgehog is doing something really cool. They're incorporating DeFi elements. It's sort of betting using your interest. So it's as they say, no loss. Really, really cool stuff. They're doing bringing in Switchboard data feeds as well. So they've in some ways overlapping with things we're doing, but it's very much sort of betting sort of on profits as opposed to an entire stake. Whereas what we're trying to do, I guess, is trying to emulate more traditional betting markets where it is sort of an all or nothing outcome, right? You can back a horse at 101 and your outcomes are 100 or 0. It's much more tradable, much more fluid. So it's sort of an exchange. You can place a bet and you can cash out before the outcome is actually played out, right? So you can almost trade a particular outcome or trade a particular expectation, like you might trade any other asset on DeFi, which is quite a cool, interesting concept.
As a retail guy, this is actually very interesting to me as well. I can exit my position if I feel like the market is going in my favor, but I'm not too confident about my position now. Maybe I should withdraw. Exactly. It's great. Yeah, and it's something that has popped up in some traditional bookmaking elements, but we have this vision where, and you can see a little bit of it implemented already, where you can actually go in and trade like you would on any exchange. A trading view chart where you can see how the price of a football match, Liverpool to win, has increased over time, and perhaps maybe it's overpriced at the moment and you want to get out, or perhaps you think someone is way overpricing the odds of some other event happening. You can sell it.
So all of a sudden, there are tradable markets that exist and can be traded from your Solana wallet relative ease, at any time. We think that's a really, really exciting opportunity.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we'll move on. So talk to us more about AVER. What are you guys currently up to? I know you're in the Solana Ignition Hackathon. Tell us what's next for your project. What's the next iteration of AVER?
Sure. So as you said, the big thing on our mind at the moment, of course, is the Ignition Hackathon. So that's we're sort of 3 days after submission for that. Still kind of taking a breather after those 40 days of coding. We're hoping that as we say, we're in among a really, really talented pool of projects. So we're absolutely not too overly confident of any validation there, but I think hopefully there'll be a bit of credibility off the back of good performance there. We are hopefully speaking to some investors about raising some initial seed rounds to get AVER off the ground, to build a slightly larger team, and to start to build a community. Probably our key focus over the next couple of months is targeting mainnet for AVER. We are super aggressive as a development team. We move very, very quickly, and we think sort of a 3 to 6 month timeline to have quite an impressive product on mainnet is what we're targeting.
Yep. So that brings me to a few questions. So you're saying mainnet in a couple of months, 6 months or so.
Yes, hopefully less, but that's the target.
That's the target. Yeah. Sorry, as a slight distraction from the questions, but do you have a token? Are you planning on a token for AVER?
There will certainly be a token for AVER. The date of public release is something that needs to be confirmed, but there absolutely will be a token for AVER. We, over the medium term, intend to move towards a DAO structure. We want to democratize betting. We want the community to own and have a say in how AVER is run, to share in the profits. Right, we want to take the profits away from traditional bookmakers and keep them within the community.
Please do.
Absolutely, and a big thing to call out is I don't think a lot of people realize just quite how lucrative traditional gambling is for the bookmakers. Right, the margins are 10 to 30%. Right, and we think we can bring those fees down to a fraction of a percent, and the profits to be retained within the community. Right, which we think is an incredible ambition. The way that users will be able to participate in the governance is through the AVER token.
Right.
I can't give much more information than that at this stage.
That's fine. That's totally fine, man. That's totally fine. I wonder, so you're saying it is more of a governance token. Will it have utility inside of the AVER application at all? Like decreased fees for Serum, that sort of stuff?
They're all possibilities. For now, the only thing confirmed is governance, but there are a lot of roles that we will require the community to play in terms of how the AVER ecosystem will work. So things like providing validation staking to the resolution of markets so that it can be done trustfully, providing liquidity to markets so that there is always an order book there to take bets and place bets. And we think that there will certainly be an incentive structure there in place to encourage the community to participate and to make AVER a really great platform.
For sure. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for sharing that with us. So tell us slightly different note. How do you and your team feel about what's happening in Solana at the moment? I know there's lots of PFP projects happening everywhere. You guys seem like you're actually building something useful for the Solana ecosystem. Tell me from your perspective as a developer, what do you see happening in Solana at the moment? What do you think about the Solana Ignition Hackathon? There's lots of projects. What is the current feeling from you guys?
To sum it up, super bullish. I think if anything screams, massive opportunity, it's 500 plus submissions to this hackathon. It's just incredible, and not just the sheer volume, but also the quality, right? Which is something really important to call out. So many things that we've seen have kind of just blown us away, and I think also to acknowledge that it's not just end user facing tools that have been submitted, right? Obviously that's something we've worked on, but to see the number of tools that are for developers, right? It's already at that stage of maturity where there are developers building tools for developers to improve the ecosystem, right? That's really incredible to see.
Speaking of tools, do you have any specific tools that you think would be developed would really help AVER? Do you need anything at the moment, or you have everything you need?
I wouldn't quite go as far as to say we've got everything we need, but I think big areas for which are already on track for improvement and are already making great strides, but I think which will help AVER and help the ecosystem as a whole is anything that helps to bring external data on chain. I think is a really important thing.
Right.
So as we've oracles are absolutely one, and I think we've got some terrific oracles already on chain, and I think the Flipboard team do an incredible job. But bringing more data on chain and more use cases, because it facilitates more use cases and more real world problems that can be solved on chain. Like I think there's been an enormous amount of growth in DeFi, because DeFi is sort of self-servicing, right? Most of the data for DeFi is on chain, right? It's sort of self-perpetuating. Whereas when you really want to move into a state of maturity where you can tackle real world problems, and not that finance isn't a real world problem, but more and more applications, more and more use cases, your big blocker there is getting external data on chain.
Getting all that stuff.
I think that is one of the key, exactly, and that is one of the key areas that opens up an awful lot of opportunities for other projects and other use cases to be brought on chain. And obviously the speed that Solana offers that makes a lot more use cases a lot more viable. So yeah.
So it's like you just brought up the Solana speed. So you guys you would have had the opportunity to build on another chain, but you came to Solana specifically. This is because of the transaction speed, the cost of transactions? What are the other benefits of Solana that made you come over here?
I think just generally the pace of adoption that we've seen over the last couple of weeks and months, and I think to me that's a very early bullish signal. The extent of developer adoption and the pace of developer adoption. I think user adoption probably lags that by a couple of months, but I think that is something that we're going to see following very, very quickly. But that to me is a very, very strong bullish signal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. I would agree as well. I guess that's why I'm so interested in Solana as well myself.
Yeah.
Do you want? Is there anything you want your community at AVER to know about? Anything you want Solana people to know about?
For the moment, we're pretty open on our Discord and Telegram. We'll be keeping people posted on any updates. I would encourage others and other listeners to join in if you want to keep up to date on the project. Like we said, we'll be moving pretty aggressively towards mainnet, and it would be great to keep everyone on board and everyone informed of progress there. But for now, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And for everyone listening, I'm just going to link, let you know, I'm going to link all the information for AVER down below. So you'll find their Discord, their Twitter, the DevNet app that you can use as well. So just feel free to explore these and just experience it, because the UI is really nice. And as a retail person, it's really easy to use. So I would encourage you to even go to the Solana Ignition Hackathon page and vote for these guys, because this is pretty cool that they're building here. I think we'll look at ending the interview, mate. Do you have, as a last question, do you have any advice for people around the world? Anything crypto related, anything generally related? Any advice that you want to give to someone?
Yeah, you sort of mentioned this ahead of the interview. I've been trying to give it a bit of thought. I guess I'll give probably one piece of advice which jumps out at me from the last few weeks is probably geared at developers, and I'm sure many people who've been working on the hackathon would agree, is probably to ship early, get feedback. We
iterate.
Exactly. We have been blown away by how eager the community was to get involved, try out the tool and give us feedback. And some of the feedback we got was incredible. Right? It allowed us to make so many improvements in the last 2 weeks of hackathon. I think in one night alone we achieved something like 1,500 unique verifiable wallets connected on the first night we shipped. And out of that, 50-60 people came back with really, really thorough feedback that really, really helped to shape the project. So I can't express enough, people on crypto are...
Community, man, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely, right? And they're forgiving, they understand it's stuff's going to be buggy, they tell you where you can improve it, they're going to have insights that you overlooked, and I think that's been really, really important in shaping it, and I think probably I would give quite a bit of credit to some of the... how well the UI has worked out, and the compliments that we've just received from you. I think we certainly attribute to that to some of our community members who've given really, really good criticisms.
Yeah, man. You build it, people will come. If you build a good product, people will come.
That's right. And then I think generally, general life advice, go get out for a run, clear your head. I think I'll try to get out for a run at least once a day around lunchtime. It gives me a sort of second wind for the day. But yeah, other than that,
No, that's good advice. Exercise is good. Getting out, just being outside from the computer is great advice. I think
absolutely.
something I should take myself, actually. I did actually just think of a question. So these are markets. Are they going to be, they're permissioned markets? Am I asking the right question? Are they permissioned? Are they permissionless? Will anyone be able to create a market?
So for now, the model is that they are permissioned. I guess there's a couple of reasons for that. Specifying a market is trickier than it sounds. We've got a couple of principles that we've set out for what a market needs to function. And so without boring you too much, you've got scenarios where, for example, outcomes aren't mutually exclusive. So technically, two winners could end up winning, or it's an incomplete set, and there's a scenario that wins. So we would like to get to a stage where we have a model that is completely permissionless. But we feel like there's a lot of risk that those markets may not function effectively, and you get a very disappointed users. The source of truth question is also a difficult one. Can you have a verifiable source of truth, and is it truly trustless? So at least initially, the markets will be permissioned, but it will be very much community driven. We'll want to hear what markets we want. We'll be very much open to suggestions, and if we believe there are markets that can be specified in a way that will function, and if a source of truth can be identified, then we will do our very best.
Yeah, right. No, I totally understand that. Like even looking at this Trump to win 2024 election, it could be a state election that say no, he didn't win, but he's the one that's and him and a riot is going around saying no, we actually did win. So how do you actually verify that on chain? And one of them is going to win. You can't do that.
You got to specify it very, very carefully. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of thought that goes into a seemingly very simple market, but yeah.
No, definitely. Okay, so that's it for now, guys. Remember, I'm going to leave all their links down below. These guys are pretty good. Go to the Solana Ignition Hackathon and look at their product. This is a great product that they're trying to build here. And you can go ahead, experiment, use the dev net, and just bet on a market and see what it is. So I've got a tutorial coming out soon with AVER, looking at a Solana Monkey business floor that I tried to win, but unfortunately I didn't, and I'll show you why. Cian. Sorry, mate. Oh man, I'm terrible. Sorry, Cian. Really apologize. Cian, thank you very much for joining with us tonight for a small interview. If you have any last words, now's the time.
No, nothing else from me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Thank you very much for coming on. Thanks for your time. All right, guys. So this is me, MetaVerse Explorer, and Cian from AVER Betting and AVER Decentralized Betting, talking small time. I don't know what to say. Goodbye for now. Ciao.